So we use this one as a demo, right? So this is the when you log in, sign up. I know we had some questions. So we use synchronize with your Active Directory, get the user list, right? So
Okay.
we get the user list and we match with them with their ConnectWise username. So we say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so these are the people. Actually, this is what kind of we get the user information and use 2FA to log in. That's all. We don't put anything else, right? Because you can verify in the Microsoft Azure with the permission we're looking for. We're just reading the user information. So there's a lot of other, you can use the outside consultant, the client portal, which Brigade has. We made a lot of enhancement there. Let's start with the integration. This is very similar, or it's the same for the data source, right? As you can
Mm-hmm.
see, have all this kind of stuff. The one you mentioned, we pretty much all have it, and we're developing about one or two new integrations every week, right? So average about a week, one per week. So it depends on how many people requesting. If it's a RESTful API, we can typically deliver it in 3 days. So this is nothing special. It's just like, oh, you authorize us for the data, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then here's the start. We're getting better. I'm gonna use the Brigade because of course, one of the topic is a comparison between the Brigade and MSPbots, right?
Mm-hmm.
So about 20-30% of the people they switch the Brigade is because this, right? You use Brigade. I think Brigade standard is give the ConnectWise user 24 datasets, right? About
Yeah.
24. Yeah, and sometimes you can ask them create a couple of them, right? See, some people have more because they are on premise, so they use SQL, create a
Right.
couple of extra set, right? Stuff like that. But we we only have 172, right? Why I say only? I'm not sure. Are you familiar with the ConnectWise RESTful API? Do you ever go there?
No, not really.
Uh,
I mean,
okay,
I understand it, but I'm not yet.
okay, yeah. So the reason I mentioned only 172 because in the if you go to the ConnectWise RESTful API JSON file, they have more than 500 there, right?
Oh wow.
So yeah, so give example, the couple, one of the client signed up because of this, right? It's like, yeah, he signed up the story is he signed up the Brigade 1 month trial. The owner went to a meeting. I never found out which meeting. Then somebody said, "Oh, we just signed the Brigade." Somebody said, "Oh, there's this company called MSPbots. They're much better." Right? The
Mm.
owner just messaged the service manager, go check this out company, this company called MSPbots. Some guy says they're better than Brad Gage. So got come in, did the demo, it's awesome. Is hey Daniel, I'm gonna test you guys, right? Because I need a report just say last month, all the invoice, the products, right? Which one, what's the percentage of the pie chart? I've been submit that ticket to Brigade 2 weeks ago. I got nothing. Can you guys try? I said forward email. I sent it to my dev team. 20 minutes later, we created that one. He looked at it. It's like, this is exactly what I'm looking for, right? Not because, well, of course, our data analysts, they're awesome, but mainly because we already have this data set, right?
Mm-hmm.
Already there, right? So this is the one, example says, you can, it, right? Without data set, there's nothing you can do about it,
Right.
right? And even the one you have the data set here, right? We can easily say, okay, which one is billable, not billable. You can do some super simple, data analyzing. If familiar with the pivot table, right? So you can just go super easily, create some of this kind of simple data analysis, right? I don't even know what I'm doing, but hey, I create a bunch of a bar chart, line chart without saving anything because this is what we gave you the opportunity. You can just verify the data, right? Right
Right.
here, sorting by it, right? Filter by it, right? All the filtering you can do. So quickly verify if the data we pulled from the integration is accurate or not. Because if the data is wrong, everything else doesn't matter, right? Is everything's data driven. So this is
Right.
kind of like a raw data we can give you there. So in summary here, right? So we have out of box for many of this. We already have way more data set. Oh yeah, I'll give you another one. This is like a stopwatch thing. I was talking with the client. It's like, oh, this is awesome. I have trouble. I don't know if you can pull this. We use stopwatch to monitoring if the user is working or not. I'm like, what? Last 14 years, I never heard anybody using that way. Then we
Mm-hmm.
look at together, we say, whoa, they actually have a data set, right? So yeah, this is the March 15th. We say, okay, you know what? They have the API. It took us 20 minutes with a junior developer to pull the API into this, right? So the summary is we have a lot of data set already, but if it's a API documentation, JSON file, right, is a 20 minutes junior tech we can put in. That's also
Wow.
the reason why we only have 172, because if you really calculate, if we put all those 500, that's still a lot of job, right? 20 minutes multiplied by what, 300?
Yeah.
So nobody's asking, we don't actively pull it. Not only it
Gotcha.
costs longer, right? It's a memory, RAM, CPU, network, everything to pull some data. Nobody's asking, nobody's using, right? But on the other hand, if you say, "Oh, I want to analyze or automate something," right? We just say, "Hey, can we find it like the stopwatch? Can we find an API?" Yes, awesome. Let's pull a data set. 20 minutes, get it done, published. Now you have a data set. You can start the journey, right? Create this what we call the widgets, right?
Mm-hmm.
We call it widgets, and in the ConnectWise, they call, but in the Bright Gauge, called it gauges,
Gauge.
right?
Right.
Right. So same thing, right? You out the
Mm-hmm.
box. If you go to the ConnectWise manage, right? I think we got about 400 widgets already, right? 485, and this number is keep going up, right? The difference here is we look at the stuff we're working with all those MSPs. If somebody says, this is can you guys design this one? We look at it. Yeah, we can. And this is a good idea. I think other people can also need it, right? Then we just not only do that for the company, and we publish in the library. And we have another function is literally in the development right now, is that if you create something, we even kind of like create this GitLab, that kind of idea, right? GitHub,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of idea. You can
Mm-hmm.
upload your own, share it to the community. We will do a review. Then you can share it. Initially, we say, okay, it's just like open share, right? It's a
Mm-hmm.
contribution. But then we're talking about maybe some monetary, right? Hey, you spend 3 hours creating these beautiful widgets. You write some like description, screenshot. You say, this is cool. I think other people are going to use it. You upload it here, sell it for $10, right?
Mm-hmm.
$10. If I'm a business owner, I'm like, what? I can get that for $10? Oh my God, sign me up. But hey,
Right.
if you can sell for, if a 10,000 company or if 1,000 company download, hey, that's 3 hours of your work just made you $10,000, right? It's Why not? So there may
Wow.
be some even third party. We're working with a Paxit, Sea Lever, Sierra Pacific, no, Sierra Connectstrat, right? The Burr McKinley. So they might even go in, do it as a business, right, to develop stuff. But the short term, right, is all we're doing it, and we help the MSP doing it, and you can do it by yourself, right? Like we have this 15. Oh, they released a new one. I don't know which one is a new one. There's a 16 of
Mm-hmm.
this kind of yeah, because yesterday
Widgets.
was 15. Yeah, it's 16 of the widgets there. But we also say, what if that 16 is not enough? This is what we use our backend. So it's a Apache, project. They have this sub project called eCharts. So
Okay.
it's a total open source visualization library, right? So you get like a couple hundreds, all kinds of yeah, all kinds of this data visualization. So our goal is to say, if you have an idea, you want to visualize it, we'll be able to support it. So anything like this one, right? So if you have a use case, and we can get the data from anywhere, right? SQL, API. Then you say, here's my data, here's my use case. and we have the full source code. It take us just 3 days to develop one of this, make it number 17, right? So, but
Hmm.
again, we don't just go there, make 300 all available. It's also, on demand based, right? If you say, oh, this is a pretty cool, hey, I like this calendar, here's my use case. If I can measure this by this way, it can be really useful. Our product owner look at it and say, yeah, that makes sense. We might even ask a couple of other MSP. We're doing the weekly meetings. We say, hey, what do you guys think? Everybody like, whoa, that would be awesome. And is sent to the development, 3 days, right? We can push this open, right? So this is part of we say, okay, now is from the data set to widget and the
Hmm.
dashboard. So the dashboard, I'm going to show you this way, right? So you use ConnectWise. Once you sign up, it take about 2 hours to do the data sync, right? So it's synchronize the data. Once the data is synchronized, then you're going to get all this dashboard pre-built, right? Right out the box, right? Similar like a bright gauge, it's always
Hmm.
give the pre-built stuff, right?
Hmm.
So in this one, we say we pretty much this is a similar integration, data set, gauge, dashboard reports, right? So
Yep.
same, but we did a lot of nuance stuff, right? So for example, this is a template. You can clone this one if you want to
Hmm.
modify, right? So when you clone it, it become like come to the my dashboard
Hmm.
section, right? So all this cloned one, right? I open the clone one. So looks very similar. You can do the single rotating because it's not by accident because the people asking for it, we developing it,
Hmm.
but a lot of nuances, right? That baggage doesn't have. Because a couple months ago when we first started, we're like, okay, we can do some kind of dashboard. Actually, we started bots first. Then we try to trigger the bots. Then the people say, can you use the bright gauge data? We reach out the bright gauge. Bright gauge says, no, we don't have an API. No, we have no intention to share our data with anyone. So kind of like a forced to do it our own, right? Our first version, then second version, then start people asking. We say, oh, we can actually do a lot of stuff. People say, no, you cannot do this. Therefore, I cannot cancel my bright gauge. Okay, give us 3 weeks, right?
Right.
Then that went down. Then that guy says, no, I'm missing that feature, right? So give example some of the nuances. Like this one, we have a company, they have 167 user company, pretty decent because I remember because they're kind of like a big, right?
Hmm.
Like 3 months ago, their manager, their head, said, "Oh, this is awesome," but they're a division of a 500-person company, MSP division, right? So like, we need to go through a lot of improvement, auditing, CSO, in order to do all that kind of stuff. I'll put you guys in, on the back burner right now. I'll reach out to you when I saw, we lost that client.
Hmm.
Then 4 weeks ago, he come back, it's like send an email, say, Daniel, one thing, can you change this URL from ConnectWise, to go to the manage
Hmm.
to Cloud Radio? I say, yes, we can, because we just released that 3 weeks ago because one Cloud Radio client asking. He said, okay, we're done. We're moving. I said, oh, okay. So it's like, okay, let me schedule a meeting. So I want you to show me how it's get done, right? I said, okay, come here, do this. Here's a hyperlink of the ticket number. Click
Hmm.
this, then drop down this one. For example, you say where you want to switch to,
Hmm.
right? You want to switch to the ticket number. Yeah, here, do this, remove this, right? HTTPS, xx.cloud
Radio.
radio,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
radio, whatever. You guys use a cloud radio?
Hmm. We
Okay,
are we are in the process of implementing cloud radio, so this would be huge.
awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, so all you need to do is that's it, right? He
Hmm.
saw this one and said it's done. Right. So again, not because we're so smart, so awesome. It just some people asked, right? So before him, somebody like, yeah, they have this problem. You give the client the dashboard, they click this one, then they click this link. They say,
They
"Where's my
try to go
Connect
to ConnectWise.
login?"
Yeah.
right? It's like, no, you don't click that. That's not for you. But
Right.
because they're a big company, they have a lot of people asking, right? They just one day like, I'm tired of. They ask a bracket, can you even just remove it, right? Nope. So then we say, so a lot of small nuances like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are willing to go in, just make the development. So I'm not going to go through those. And so we're very actively, those 30 some developers, right? Every day is making the new improvement, all that kind of stuff, right? So all those, like we developed for them, same thing for them, right? The client portal, they have about hundreds company, so when they give the client access, they need to make a copy and make copy and make copy, one per company, right?
Mm-hmm.
We did is automatically. We said this is a token. We already know the client email address. Through the email address, we can find the company. Then we filter the data with the company. Then you only have three templates, right? For you
Wow.
can have 500 companies, right? Why you? It's like, yes, right? So those are the sense we're doing a lot. When we, and also people say, hey, this dashboard we cannot do. Hey, can you put more than 210 days data, right? We're like, why not?
Right.
Because Bragg been asking them for 3 years, right? We said, yeah, we do ask you the use case, right? Why? We can put 15 years. It's just like a resource ROI calculation, right? Why
Mm-hmm.
do you need a 15 years data? Maybe we can give you a 1 year summary, like during the weekend, night, weekend, the server is not busy. We pull the 1 year data, do a summary, then remove all the detail. Nobody cares. 14 years ago, that Wednesday afternoon, 2:30, what happened with that ticket? They just want a summary data. So every single time people ask, yeah, you're right. I just need a summary. That's all I need. Then we can do that summary. It take a couple bytes,
Right.
save it in the database, discard the data, and that's become the history. You never need to do that again. It's a one-time job. Then for sure we can do it. And even the back end, we have the Python engine, Java engine. I was like a imaginary situation. Is oh, my cousin is a PhD in the statistics of the MIT, right? He created this Python code to run my last 15 years of revenue analysis. He did it 10,000 times. Use a Monte Carlo tree, R, to predict what's the next three months or 3 years our revenue gonna be. We'll be like, awesome. You have the code. We can inject into our back end, then we can give you a data set. Because at the end of the day, whatever how complicated manipulation of the data, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what's the next 3 years It's just three revenue number. That's it,
Right.
right? It's a new data set, right? So that's how we can back end. We have a way more sophisticated engine, and we can accommodate, OpenAI. You use a Google TensorFlow, right? We have all those engine built. We just need
Mm-hmm.
the use case and
Right.
more data, right, to really make sense, right? So typically, I hear that 50% people they're like, okay, I'm done, either because data set, cloud radio, visualization, right? Mesh the data, or one company says what you can do, when we do the data filtering, right? So we can do this grouping, right? So you can do this add group, then add condition, then you can select and all. It's like that's the
Mm-hmm.
only reason, right? I can add this and then all this and then add another one, then all another one. I'm signing up, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
here, there, all the stuff.